Chapter 1. Chapter 1. Damien, Void Angel. Azure World. Magic City. Azure Bliss Hotel. Azure Bliss Hotel is the most luxurious hotel in Magic City. Even first-class family need to spend a huge fortune to book a room, but today the entire hotel is booked by Void Angel family. It's booked because the young master of the Void Angel, one of the main family in Magic City, is getting married to the Miss of Belmont, a third-class family. There were many peoples inside the hotel who come, but all of them were from upper family in Magic City. Even many celebrities come, and they were proud of getting invitation for this wedding. In the center of the stage stood a beautiful girl. That girl name was Emily, and she was the bride for today's wedding. Emily's face was delicate, and her graceful body couldn't be covered by a wedding dress. At this time, she was looking at the man who was sitting on the chair with disgust. The man in front of her should have been her husband, but Emily regarded that today is the day when her heart would completely die. The celebrities and peoples who come can see her cold face, and there was deep sorrow on her face, as if today was not her wedding but a family member funeral. Damien, I hope you keep your promise and don't attack my family. Even if you get my body, but you won't get my heart if you still attack my family. I will only hate you for the rest of my life. After the wedding, I want you to leave me, but don't worry, I won't do anything to be sorry for the Void Angel family. When Emily spoke, she didn't cover her voice, and all peoples heard her clearly. They could see that she was not happy with the marriage, and there wasn't any happy smile that she should have on her face at this event. On the contrary, her expression were quite opposite, as if she was attending a funeral. Many celebrities and upper-class peoples looked at this scene and started speaking in low voice. Most of them were women's. Gossiping is the nature of women and cannot be changed even if they attend the wedding ceremony of a big family.
Look.
She didn't look happy at all. TSK, I really envy Emily. When she will enter the Void Angel family, she will really flew to the branches and became a phoenix. What's more, I have seen the bride price of the Void Angel family. They give them a precious marrow wash pill, and with that they would have a foundation realm powerhouse. TSK, but look at her, she still doesn't look happy, and there is a stinky face. Sure enough, what is favored would have no fear. Young Master Damien is still a good man. It's just he is too infatuated with her. There are so many beautiful women. Why can't he look at me? Why bother looking for a big lady who doesn't know how to be grateful? So, men just can't be licking dogs because licking until the end would get nothing. Shut up, you don't want to live anymore? What is the status of the Void Angel family? We attend this wedding because we want to hug the thighs of Void Angel family, and you are talking openly about this. There was a man on the scene who reprimanded his friend, who just said that licking the dog would get nothing, and the young master of Void Angel family is a licking dog. Even though everyone in the Magic City know that the young master of Void Angel family is a licking dog, but no one dare to say that in front of his face. At this time, all people's eyes were focused on the center of the stage where there was a sofa for bride and groom to sit. A man was sitting alone on there. The man had closed his eyes, and his one hand was put on the sofa, while other on his thighs. That man's face was so handsome that it can almost infatuate any woman. That man is the groom and young master of Void Angel family. He is Damien Void Angel. At this time, Damien was thinking what happened? Why, I just closed my eyes and the scene dramatically changed. Damien traveled through just now. Even though he knows that he had transmigrated into another world, but he wasn't panicking. He knows the more is this situation, the more he should remain calm, so no one can see his falsehood. He didn't want to be the unlucky traveler who died shortly after time traveling. Then suddenly a wave of memories come into his mind, as if they were in his mind from the beginning. In the process, he didn't felt any pain. Just after he get the memory, a ding sounded inside his mind. Ding! Detected, the host has reached the plot time, and the system is awakening. Ding! The system has been completely awakened. Ding! The Destiny villain system will serve the host in the future. Damien was surprised when he saw a blue screen opening in front of him. Even if he had closed his eyes, he can still see it, as if this is an illusion. As an author in his previous life, How he can't knows the system, which is the earliest package of the reincarnation or transmigration protagonists. The system is the key which is used by authors to empower the main character logically. It seems this is my golden finger. He thought and asked inwardly, "Hey system, introduce yourself and tell me why did I transmigrated here?" Ding! The system is called Destiny Villain System. The system can plunder the fate and luck of lucky peoples who are often called protagonist and heroine. Ding! Not only protagonists and heroines, but as long as the person is lucky the system can plunder their luck and fate. Ding! By killing and plundering their fate the host would get villain points. Villain points is the exclusively currency of the system. Villain points can buy anything inside the system mall, and they're almost omnipotent. Ding! The host has awakened the memory of his previous life just now. He was reincarnated, not transmigrated. Is that so? Damien was relieved when he heard that he was reincarnated, but awakened his previous life memories just now. If he would get transmigrated, then he would feel weird and uncomfortable. First is that it's not his body, and second is that when his woman will give birth to his child, then the child would be his or not. That's why he didn't want to get transmigrated. Then system, who created you? He asked inwardly. Even though he knows that the chances of system telling him are almost none, but he still asked. He didn't want it to become a high-level god toy. Ding! The system didn't know how it come into existence, but the system has only one rule, that is to serve the host completely. Damien nodded his head slightly inside his heart. As for whether he believed the system, or not only he knows. He smiled and asked gently, then can I change the system rules and delete you? Ding! Host can't change the core rule, that is to plunder the fate of lucky peoples, but the host can change everything else. Ding! The host can delete the system's spirit. Is it deleted? Damien shook his head and thought it seems the system is somehow reliable. No, don't delete the system's spirit. But change the system according to my thoughts. Also, do you have any initial gift package? He asked. At this time, he totally remembered the scene in his memory. Isn't this scene from the novel, which he was reading before? The Soldier King. Chapter 2. Chapter 2. Improving Cultivation Realm. The Soldier King. This was the novel that he was reading before. Even though he was an author, but he didn't stop reading other authors' novels. But unfortunately, this novel had been dropped by author after writing 23 chapters. The novel was full watery. The author released full water. In 23 chapters, he only described the wedding scene. Ding! Host, the system has initial gift package. Is it opened? Note: when the system will undergo a update, the initial gift package will be lost. Damien smiled gently and said, open it. He completely remembered the next plot. The protagonist is about to come and snatch the bride at the wedding. When snatching the bride, he shattered his dantian, so in the future, he can't cultivate. This was the next plot. The wife was snatched and Void Angel Face was directly lost. Just like that, a feud was born between them. As for what happened later, he didn't know because the author dropped this novel. But he thinks the villain must have died in the end. Even though his life was in danger, and he was about to become crippled, but he was still in the mood of smiling. Just from this we can see his big heart. In fact, even if he won't have a system, he would simply threaten and kidnap the heroine and keep himself safe. He won't put his life in danger. As for his protector, he didn't pay attention from the beginning. Even though his protector was a Foundation Realm powerhouse, but he can't stop the protagonist who is at Chi Gathering Realm and 8th floor. So, he didn't put his hope in his bodyguard from the starting. He was waiting for the system to reveal the initial gift package items. If there is anything that could save his life, then he won't take action and would solve this plot gently. But if the system items are not enough to protect himself, then directly threaten the heroine and save himself. He didn't think that this is despicable. In his previous life, he was an orphan. But he wasn't poor, on the contrary, it was opposite. He was rich. His life in his previous world was extremely smooth. He opened the business after taking a loan, and it becomes successful. but in the meantime he was an author. He enjoyed the feeling to control the other people's fate in his hand. It was like he could do whatever he wanted. The ability to manipulate their fate is what pleasured him to write. In his previous life, he was an out-to-out villain. After all, if you aren't a bad people, then you can't run a successful business. In fact, if we talk about products which he would sell in his previous life, they were extremely cheap. Yes, even as a black heart capitalist, his products were extremely cheap, almost free. The public thought he was a kind person, but they don't know that what he was selling were not product. The actual products were his customers. In this world, nothing is free except betrayal. If something is free, then you are not the customer, because you are the product. That's why he was a successful, kind-hearted businessman in his previous life. So doing as simple as threading the heroine, he didn't have any burden from the beginning. Ding. Opening the initial gift package. Ding. Congratulations to the host for getting a soul-tempering realm-level powerhouse as a bodyguard. The host can designate the bodyguard gender, and the bodyguard loyalty to the host is? Ding. Congratulations to the host for getting Realm Ascension card. By this, the host can improve his cultivation realm up to the next realm stage. Ding. Congratulations to the host for getting 1,000 villain points. Damien was stunned this time. Yes, he was directly stunned. He thought if he gets something to save himself, then it would be better, but who knows, the system is so arrogant that it directly give him a soul-tempering realm-level powerhouse. In Azure World, there are 4 cultivation realm. They are Chi-gathering realm, foundation realm, core forging realm, and soul-tempering realm. They are divided into 9 floors. The more floor the person cultivate and spend his time to polish his realm, the more solid the cultivation realm will be. If a person cultivate up to 3 floor, he can broke through to the next realm, but then the cultivation foundation will be weak. But not all peoples can cultivate up to 9 stages. This also depends on a person talent. The road of cultivation is hard, and not everyone can cultivate until the end. The cultivation road is filled with unknown numbers of genius people bones. Damien current realm is Chi-gathering realm floor 7. Even though he is rich, handsome, and belonged to a high-level family, but his cultivation couldn't be compared to the protagonist. Just by this you can know the difference between an ordinary person who can improve their realm and protagonist who easily move to next stage. He shook his head and said, "System set the bodyguard gender to female, and tell me what is?" Also use the Realm Ascension card, but before that tell me, will this be discovered by others when my cultivation improves, or will my foundation will become weak and unstable? Ding. Designated host bodyguard gender to female. Ding. Successful. The host can call her anytime. Ding. Means highest level loyalty. Ding. No host. Others won't know when system will improve your realm. Also, the hosts don't have to worry about having a unstable foundation. The system rewards are absolutely in favor for hosts. Ding. Is the Realm Ascension card used? Damien nodded his head, feeling more and more satisfied with system. At the same time he thought, it seems the system is not a bitch. There aren't any system task or anything. The items are also great. Yes, use it now. Then what he was waiting for? He directly ordered the system to improve his cultivation to next realm. Ding. Using the Realm Ascension card. As the system promote sounded, Damien felt a comfortable heat inside his full body. It was very comfortable, but it didn't remain for much time as he stopped feeling heat inside his body. Ding. The host, your realm has been breakthrough to next stage. Your current realm is Foundation Realm 7 stage. Damien saw this and nodded his head, feeling satisfied. He felt he can tear apart a human body easily. He could crush mountain and tear apart the heaven itself. But he knows that this is his illusion because of improving realm directly. The first 2 things he can do, but he can't tear apart the heaven. He still has this knowledge. System. What is my bodyguard name? Also, did you created her just now? He asked curiously. Ding. The system didn't created, but pulled her out from the long river of time. She didn't have any name. The host can give her the name. Name, just call her Diana. He thought for a moment and replied, "Ding, the name has been successfully set. Ding, the system is accessing the host thoughts and is changing the system functions. Ding, the system is going to update. Is it updated? How much time it will take? Ding, some minutes. Okay, then upgrade the system according to my thoughts. Ding, the system has received host consent and the system is updating. Ding, please ask the host to wait for a few minutes." Damien saw this. Pramod then opened his eyes. Even though this much happened inside, but outside only a few seconds passed. Chapter 3. Chapter 3. Immortal Road is long. Damien opened his eyes and looked at everyone. He finds out that everyone was looking at him. Emily was same. Emily's eyes were frosty and red. It looks like that she was crying. He looked at Emily and thought it turned out that she is really a beauty. But it is also normal. After all, if you are a beauty, then how can she be qualified as a heroine? Even though she is a beauty, but it isn't enough to infatuate me. It seems the world is forcing myself and had reduced my brain previously. Hehehe, didn't the world want to suppress and kill me? Let's see how I will play with your chosen son and daughters to death. When the auspicious time will come, I will kill you too. Damien thought. He continued, look how aggrieved is she now, but how cool she will be later. After all, her destiny child, Ethan, who is also her bodyguard and soldier king, is about to appear. What a destiny heroine. The road of immortality is long. Why should I worry that I won't get enough women? Even though I love women, but even in my previous life, I was a virgin. Why? Just because I don't think any girl deserved to become my woman. But the immortality road is quite long. Just choose some villainess of destiny and kill heroine and protagonists. Damien thought, and already decided their fate. His purple eyes flickered with cold light when he looked at Emily, while there was still a gentle smile on his face. No one knows that Damien has awakened his previous life memories, and now his cultivation level is Foundation 7th floor realm. Just when he wanted to cancel the marriage, suddenly, there was a loud scream at the door, and everyone's eyes on the scene looked at one place. They saw that 4 security guards flew over the heads of the crowd and fell heavily to the ground. As the highest level and most luxurious hotel in Magic City, the Azure Bliss Hotel is also the asset of the Void Angel family. The security guards equipped with it are at least at the level of refining the mortal flesh. There are even masters who practice and start the beginning, which is enough to deal with most ordinary people who make trouble. Now that they was defeated so easily and fell to the ground in an instant, this immediately made many people realize that there was a master who was not easy to mess with. Damien didn't even need to look because he knows that it was Ethan, the Destiny protagonist, who arrived here. It seems there is a play, hehe. Damien thought while a smile flashed on the corner of his mouth. As for getting worried or anything, Damien said don't worry, everything is under control. He has Foundation Realm cultivation, which is enough to defeat and kill Ethan. He also has Diana, who can slaughter the entire city if she want to. So, from the beginning, he wasn't worried. He set his eyes on Emily. Emily naturally didn't know Ethan's true identity, but by a chance she meets and was saved by him when she was molested by hooligans. So he was regarded as bodyguard, and Ethan also saw her beautiful and accepted to become her bodyguard. Ethan's strength made her feel good, and the two became a little ambiguous. Ethan had already seen Damien and Emily on the stage. After seeing them, he showed an evil smile. Damien chuckled and thought, the king of soldiers smiled crookedly, and the villain's life and death are unpredictable. Hehehe, let's see whether this line is true or not. Who are you, who dare to come here to make trouble? Although Ethan was very domineering, but considering that this place was the highest level hotel in Magic City, someone still mustered up the courage to step forward and question him. I came to bring back my eldest lady. I heard that she was kidnapped and wanted to be forcibly married. As a bodyguard, the freedom and safety of the employer come first. Then the corners of Ethan's mouth pulled out a more exaggerated arc, revealing a wild expression, and shouted in an extremely arrogant tone, I see who dares to stop me today. Emily also saw Ethan and immediately said, "Ethan, what are you doing here?" She had told him to stay at home. How could he come here? Although Emily had good impression on Ethan, but she know their future is dark and they can't be together. One is the bodyguard and other is eldest lady of big family. How can they be together? But she still it did not prevent her from wanting to find an object that matched her soul. When she looked at Ethan, there was also a trace of brilliance and tenderness in her eyes. Emily originally wanted to stop this scene. After all, Ethan's behavior would also be counted on her own family, but after thinking about his strength, she didn't stop him because there was no problem in beating Damien, the second ancestor, who cultivated using drugs, and so it was better to give this young master a warning. Thinking of this, the corners of Emily's mouth rose. Her eyebrows and eyes stretched, her gloomy mood was swept away, and she smiled. It was like she saw the sun. When Damien's bodyguard see him coming towards, he snorted and directly attacked Ethan. Damien bodyguard is on Foundation Realm while Ethan was on Chi Gathering Realm, but the scene didn't appear what everyone thought. It was opposite. They saw that Ethan didn't run away, but punched Damien bodyguard straight. When their punch met their momentum made the people around them consciously retreat to the wall. Because of their punch and moment the tiles on the ground cracked inch by inch, and they separated. They were tied, even though their realms were quite different. Damien looked at this scene and felt normal. After all, how could a bodyguard under the villain when fighting with Son of Destiny? He opened his mouth and said, "Come back." Chapter 4. Am I a person who think about killing? Come back, Damien said to his bodyguard, and everyone's eyes fall on him. Everyone looked at him curiously while whispering. This person not only dared to go straight to the Azure Bliss Hotel, but also repelled young Master Damien's bodyguard, who was building the Foundation Realm. Could it be that young Master Damien is going to plant at this time? Wouldn't it? Someone dares to beat young Master Damien? Is he crazy? Look at his cultivation with that punch. There is a momentum no less than that of the Foundation building realm. This person is about the same age as young Master Damien, but his cultivation is so against the sky. At this time, Emily was also anxious when she saw that Ethan was going towards Damien. She thought that Ethan beat Damien bodyguard, and the goal is already achieved. She had already warned him and was ready to leave, but looking at Ethan, who wanted to go towards Damien, if he cripple him, then the matter would become bigger. The Void Angel family status in the Magic City is not something that Ethan could shake. So she opened her mouth and said, "Enough, Ethan. Don't make a fuss, I'll go with you." As long as these words come out, the audience was in uproar, and everyone looked at the scene carefully. The eldest lady of the Belmont family refused the wedding with young Master Damien for an unknown bodyguard-like guy. The breath of dog blood immediately attracted the curiosity of many people, and there were expressions of eating melons everywhere just to see how the Void Angel family would end this time. At this time, Damien bodyguard hesitated, but dare not go against his order. It's not that he was afraid of Damien, but he was afraid of his mother. If Damien's mother knows that he dared to go against his orders, then his end would not be good. But he locked his breath in Ethan. If he dared to something to young Master, then he and his family would be buried without coffin. He knows that Damien's mother won't spare him and his family, that's why he is locking his breath on Ethan. Ethan felt the bodyguard breath, but he smiled and felt disdainful. He snorted and asked Damien, "Are you the young Master of Void Angel family?" Damien smiled and nodded his head gently. He said, "Yes, I am. Anything to say?" He felt normal when he saw the audience whispering around. Ethan snorted coldly and said, "Good." After that, he immediately punched towards him. He thinks that he is better than him because Damien would have cultivated until here with the help of drugs. His foundation must be already unstable. Seeing the punch and feeling the momentum towards himself, Damien didn't panic and still sit there with ease. Damien bodyguard saw Ethan taking an action and felt bad. How dare he thinks that Ethan would be so crazy that he would really attack young Master of Void Angel family. Not good. Then he remembered that he is his bodyguard. But he couldn't stop Ethan even if he pressed his complete aura of Foundation Realm. His cultivation level was Foundation Realm 3 floor. Ethan, on the other hand, was happy and looked at Damien, whose expression didn't change. Really a flower in greenhouse. He didn't even change his expression. After all, he is stunned, right? He thought, and just when his punch was almost in front of Damien and was about to touch him, Damien took action. Damien saw the punch in front of him and felt funny. Their realms are totally different, and even if the protagonist of Destiny is favored by heaven and can cross realm, but his cultivation realm is extremely solid. Is this so-called fearlessness because of ignorance? Damien said, and waved his palm lightly. Ethan was stunned by his actions, and when he was about to laugh, he felt an unstoppable force coming in front of him, and the next moment his fist spirit was shattered, and his whole body was blown out like a rag bag and hit the hall walls, then bounced back. What happened? The audience was stunned, and when they saw that Ethan was beaten back, they had already imagined that from today onwards the Void Angel family face will be lost, but suddenly a reversal stunned them. Emily also saw this scene, and she hurriedly went to Ethan and asked anxiously, "Ethan, how are you? Are you okay?" Ethan coughed blood. He felt his inside body was about to break. He said, "I am fine." Then he looked at Damien, who stood up from sofa and comes towards him. He felt a burst of tremor, because according to him the scene shouldn't be like that. It should be him who beat his bodyguard and him then snatched the bride. But how can the scene would be completely different from what he thought? Emily also saw him coming towards them, and she angrily shouted, "What do you want to do now? Why did you injure him so seriously?" Because previously Damien gave her everything and did everything she wanted, so she didn't fear him, but felt his behavior is unlike a man. That's why she have only disgust for him. The onlookers were stunned by this plot. The bride is scolding the groom for other man. They immediately looked at Damien, who was walking down from the stage towards Ethan and Emily. Everyone was curious as what will he do in this situation. Everyone in the Magic City know that young master from Void Angel family was a dog licked. So they felt a burst of joy when they saw the situation. They wanted to know what will he do. Damien also saw the light in their eyes and chuckled inside his heart. Later, just kill them, he thought, and suddenly heard the system prompt. Ding, the system has been developed according to host thoughts. He really? Then open my status panel. Ding, generating the status panel. Ding, generated successfully. Destiny villain system. Host, Damien, Void Angel. Halo, none. Physique, sacred constitution, dark body, dormant. Cultivation realm, Foundation realm 7 floor. Cultivation sutra, none. Cultivation art, none. Tao elements, none. Supernatural powers, dark realm, SSS, follow your heart. System points, 1000. Items, none. Damien looked at the status panel and didn't felt anything when he saw none on most columns. He asked system, "What is supernatural powers, and can I kill the protagonist now? Will there be any backlash from heaven or something?" Ding, host, supernatural powers are which you were born with originally or can get only by the heaven. They are very precious. The host can kill the protagonist, and because of system you won't receive such backlash. But the host is advised not to kill him, because by killing him there can be unknown changes. Got it. I person who thinks about killing? Damien felt a little dissatisfied and asked to the system inwardly. As for other things like physique, he will ask later. Because he finally arrived in front of him. Chapter 5. You deserve to call me Damien too? In the main hall there was a dead silence. After arriving in front of them, he didn't said anything neither. He looked at Emily. He shook his head lightly. Everyone looked at Damien and felt a chill for no reason. If it was before, they would only feel that it was their illusion, but looking at Ethan, who was kneeling while coughing blood, they seriously doubted that something may happen to them. They saw that his hands were behind his back, his eyes were deep and indifferent. It's like overlooking a little ant bouncing around. Under his feet, Ethan knelt down in embarrassment. His face was pale and looked unwilling. His body was wet with cold sweat. There were blood around the corner of his mouth. System, what will happen if I kill him now? Damien was curious and asked. Ding! If the host kill him now, then some unknown changes might take place. Like the reincarnation of strong, etc. Damien nodded his head and continued asking, System, is this the same world that I was reading before reincarnating? Ding, no host. This is a real world, and many things will change. The biggest change is you, the host. Damien stopped asking and thought, it seems what the system said is likely to be true. In my memories, even though this world has still same settings, but there are secret realms. He nodded his head. Only then he looked at Emily and Ethan. Uninteresting. Weren't you going to beat me? What happened now? He smiled gently and placed his leg over his head. He stomped Ethan's head with his shoes. Ah, you bastard, I won't let you go. I promise I will definitely kill you. Ethan screamed, feeling his head being stomped by his shoes. He didn't felt any pain when he stomped his shoes over his head. But Ethan felt endless shame and humiliation. He couldn't do anything because his cultivation was sealed by Damien. Damien, what do you want to do? Do you want to find an excuse to suppress my Belmont family again? Emily saw that he didn't even look at her, neither answer her questions. When she saw Ethan had being pressed on the ground, she couldn't help and shout again. Previously, she find out that he won't do anything to herself because he loves her. That's why she dared to shout and scream at the Void Angel family young master. Otherwise, if he didn't listen to her previously, then give her 100 chances, she won't dare to shout at him. Damien looked at her, then at Ethan, who had said that he will kill him. He chuckled and lifted his leg. After that, he kicked his body. When he did that, Ethan was sent flying like a rag doll and hit the wall again. As for his life or death, it's unknown. But Damien think that he may be still alive. After all, he is a protagonist. Everyone was in shock. They thought the young master would become soft in front of Emily again. But it seems the situation is going to change. What did you call me just now? Damien asked Emily in his gentle tone. Emily was stunned by everything that happened, but hearing his same voice with his gentle tone that he usually begged her, she was filled with confidence again. It's just when she was about to scold him again. Suddenly, she saw that Damien raised his palm and slapped her face. Slap. The sound of slapping echoed in the hall. Everyone looked what was happening with sweat behind their back. You hit me? She asked and shouted angrily. In anger, she had lost her mind. But Damien was not the same Damien who had become mindless because of heavenly Tao. He snorted and his eyes became cold and face becomes indifferent. He asked again, I asked you, what did you call me? Emily felt scared after feeling the change in his tone. Her tone couldn't help but became a little soft, but her hands were clenched. She was also kneeling because previously she had come to Ethan to see whether he is injured or not. So she kneeled down on her knee to check him. Until now, she didn't have any chance to stand up. She looked at Damien and felt scared for no reason. She replied, Damien? Damien's face showed the usual gentle smile again, and just when she was relieved, she saw that his face turned cold, and he slapped on the other side of her face. Damien slapped her and said, You deserve to call me Damien too? He placed his palm over her snow neck and grabbed her neck. He picked her up by neck and pinched it tightly. He saw that her face looked horrified when he did that. His eyes became more cold as the seconds went. He continued and asked, Who do you really think you are? I think you are useful. You can be a golden sparrow. If I think that you are useless, then you are not as good as a dog. Don't think highly of yourself. He pinched her neck tightly and saw that on her forehead green tendons started to show. Emily couldn't breathe, and she tried to fight him. She put her hand over his hand, so she can take off his hand from her neck. But his hand were strong as iron. Just when she lost her all hope and was about to die, suddenly, she heard a loud voice. Let her go. She saw that Ethan shouted and was running here. Damien saw this scene and his smile widened. He released her neck as she fell on the floor. Emily was released and she greedily took the oxygen in the air. Why did I need oxygen? She is a cultivator and there are many treasure given by Damien, so she is strong. A Chi realm cultivator can hold his breath for few breaths. Just when she was puzzled, a wave of weakness jolted in her body, and she instantly understood that her cultivation was sealed. Damien looked at Ethan, who was running here. He shook his head inwardly and muttered, so reckless. If he wasn't a protagonist, then he may have already died. He thought and called out Diana. After all, as a destiny villain, he can't do all things right? Diana. Chapter 6. Chapter 6. I want an explanation if it didn't satisfy me. Diana. As Damien called out this, a gorgeous girl come out from the shadows. It seemed she was there from the beginning. Damien looked at Diana and felt something twitching down there. He calmed his heart and swallowed his saliva. He saw that Diana's face was indifferent and her purple eyes flashed with tenderness when she looked at him. Her long black hairs weren't tied up by a ribbon or anything. Damien looked at her and thought, the system really understood me. Damien liked this kind of girl very much. At the same time, he had already thought to spend his night with her. Then Damien saw that Diana waved her hands lightly like him and looked at Ethan coldly as she said, a bug also dare to go against my lord? Damien coughed when he heard her words. Then he sent her a transmission and said, call me young master. Diana nodded her head while looking at him. Damien chuckled and kicked Emily towards Ethan. Everyone in the venue couldn't help but feel chill. They thought it would be like before. He would forgive Emily or even ask for forgiveness, but how do they feel that there is day-night difference between what they thought and what actually happened? He walked towards them and was ready to kill Emily. But suddenly he saw that a man entered inside the door and directly kneeled down in front of him. Young master, please have mercy on my daughter. She is still a little girl and is naive. If you give her another chance, she definitely won't say that. Emily, who was kicked, is still stunned, but watching her father kneeling down in front of the man that she hated the most, she couldn't help but started crying. At this moment, she hated Damien to her core. Damien didn't even look at Emily and her father. He walked to Diana and put his hand on her waist, only then he looked at him, who was kneeling. It seems the plot is starting to change, he thought. In the plot, in 23 chapters, Emily's father didn't come to the hotel. But looking at him, he knows that some things have changed. Maybe this world is just similar world to the novel that he previously read. Ding, there is opportunity to know the tip about the protagonist. Is it used? Damien was surprised but answered no later. He looked at the protagonist, heroine and her father as a warm and gentle smile appeared on his face. He had already thought what to do in order to make it more enjoyable for himself. But before that he needs to investigate Ethan. He opened his mouth and said, 3 days later, I will go to your house. He started walking outside and continued, I want an explanation from the Belmont family. If it didn't satisfy me. He didn't continue, but Emily's father was sweating a lot. He knows that if he didn't give any explanation, then maybe the Belmont family would end here. When Damien was going, he saw that his bodyguard wanted to come with him. He snorted and ordered, clean the scene. But he seems to remember something and stopped suddenly.
When he stopped, so did Diana.
He looked at the peoples who were watching the play and chuckled. He said, everyone, I am afraid the wedding won't be continuing, but there is banquet for everyone to enjoy. I have some work and can't continue to stay here. After everyone heard that, some witty ones quickly replied, Where? It's our honor to be invited here. And the young master must have some important work. The others also nodded their head. Damien saw this and then didn't stay here for any more time. He was afraid that he couldn't help but shoot all the peoples who were watching the play. Even though he is cruel, but he won't kill them on this occasion. After watching Damien out from the door, everyone sighed in relief and then looked towards Emily and Ethan. 3 days later, Everyone's thought, and even though they wanted to join in the fun and watch the play, but obviously they dare not. Emily's father hadn't felt this much shame from years. His face couldn't help but look crazy and red with anger. He calmed himself down and thought, I need to think how to calm down the anger of young master from Void Angel family. He looked at Ethan and felt regretted. Why did he hire him? You bastard, it's all because of you. He couldn't help but curse even in crowd to him. Even though Ethan felt humiliation hearing him, but thinking of something his face becomes calm, and he replied like a order. I will take care of it. There was a strong confidence in his tone. Obviously, he is backed by someone. After Damien come out from the Azure Hotel, he thought, so where should I go? He thought, and finally decided to go home. Even though he knows that his mother is very angry with himself due to him having marriage with Emily, but until when he could hide from her. He also need to calm down her. Thinking of that, he and Diana went into parking lot. Previously the car was driven by his previous bodyguard, but there is no need for him now.
He has Diana.
They sit in the car, and when he started the car, Diana spoke. She asked, Lord, should I drive the car? Damien was surprised by what she said. He asked, do you know how to drive the car? As for calling himself Lord, he felt helpless but ignored. No, Lord, but I can drive. Oh, then come here. Damien nodded his head. He knows that any cultivator, even if he don't know about driving, can drive a car. But he didn't want it to stand up. So he patted his thighs and said her to sit here. Diana, indifferent face, finally changed. She blushed and stammered that What, you don't want it? No, Lord. It's just, is it okay for my servant to sit on your thighs? She didn't refuse to sit but felt an honor to sit on his thighs. It's just, is it okay for a low-level servant as herself to sit on his thighs? Damien thought she didn't want to sit on his thighs, but who knows that she was hesitating because she felt her status wasn't enough to sit on his thighs. He chuckled, feeling funny. He ordered, sit here. He patted his thighs. Diana blushed but didn't dare to refuse her lord order. Chapter 7. Danica, Void Angel. Diana blushed and sit on his thighs. Damien felt her soft ass on his thighs, and he got a boner. Even though he could control that but didn't because he wanted to see her expression. What would be her expression when she felt my boner? Damien thought. But Diana didn't said, and opposed even after feeling his dick. It's just the root of her ears became red. Damien chuckled seeing that. So, Diana, you remembered what happened before I called you? He wanted to know whether she remembered her previous life. After all, the system pulled her out from the long river of time. No, Lord, before you called me, I was sleeping within the eternal darkness. Oh, then it must have a bad experience, right? To sleep in the darkness and not feeling anything. No, Lord, in the darkness, what I felt was only comfort. Oh, Damien nodded his head and continued, so, do you remember how you woke up or anything else? No, Lord. I just feel that you were calling me. So I woke up to serve my Lord. Is that so? Then do you know who am I? Yes, my Lord, you are the young master of Void Angel family, the main family in Magic City. Damien nodded his head and placed his head over her shoulder. He sniffed the fragrance from her and wrapped his hand over her belly.
Sit comfortably.
Diana blushed, feeling something poking in her ass, and she felt that her pussy became wet. Her breathing became heavy, and she squirmed in his arms. As for Damien, he stopped asking her. At the same time, he felt the system was really powerful and understand him completely. He completely changed her memory. He chuckled, feeling funny, but at this time the system prompt sounded. Ding! It's detected the host has an immortal soul curse. Is it removed? Damien was stunned and he asked inwardly, curse?
Who can curse me?
System, tell me about it. Ding! There is opportunity to know the tip about the immortal soul curse. Is it used? Damien thought and refused. No, later. He will check that with the protagonist tip opportunity. It's just whoever cursed his soul, he will definitely destroy him. Ding! Is the immortal soul curse removed from the host's soul? Will there be anything that I need to pay attention? Like any celestial phenomena or something like that? Celestial phenomena not only happens when some treasure are born, but it's also a sign of many big things. Ding, no host. Then remove it. Ding, destroying and removing the soul curse. Ding, host, it will take some time. Damien looked at this and said nothing else. He knows that it should take some time to completely remove the soul curse. It's just he was thinking about who could curse his soul. His eyes flashed with coldness. No matter who you are, where you are, I will definitely kill you.
He thought murderously.
What happened, Lord? Diana felt Damien's murderous aura and asked. Nothing, just focus on driving. Also, do you know the palace location? Yes, Lord. Damien nodded and rested his head on her shoulder completely. Who can curse me? Even after thinking some time, he couldn't find anyone who really hated him. Actually, many people hate him and their family, but they aren't strong enough to cast a immortal soul curse. He sighed and stopped thinking about it. Anyways, there is opportunity to know about curse tip. Sometime later, the car stopped and they arrived in front of a big palace. It was a big mansion. Guards who were standing on the door opened the door after seeing that it was their young master's car. After parking, both of them come out from the car and went inside the palace. Inside the palace, there was no one, not even maids. After they entered inside the mansion, Damien saw a beautiful young lady sitting on a sofa while closing her eyes. She wasn't cultivating, it's just by her face we can know that her mood is bad. That woman has black hair, purple eyes, and a graceful figure that would satisfy every man's dream. She seems to carved by heaven itself. She was just perfect. She was Damien's mother. At this time her mood was so bad that she didn't even want to pretend and make a gentle look. Danica was thinking about her son. Hey, I am a young lady of Void Angel family, but my son is a licking dog. Sigh, who would believe that? Then she sensed someone coming and her face became chill. She didn't allow anyone to enter, whether it's any women or man. So who can come? Her son Damien won't come as he is going to marry with his goddess.
Just thinking about it.
Her face becomes even more chilly and a purple light flashed in her light. She wanted to kill directly whoever come inside their place. Then she saw it was her son. She was stunned, but her face didn't ease down and became gentle, but became even more chilly. Look, who's that? Our young master is coming home after marrying a cheap girl? Huh. She sneered. As for the women next to him, she didn't even look at her. A small person is not qualified to make herself look at her. Damien wanted to greet his mother, but the greetings was stuck in his throat when he heard her taunting. He looked at the women in front of him and swallowed his saliva. This woman is his mother, and she is beautiful as fairy. Ahem. When he wanted to clear the misunderstanding, Danica didn't give him any chance and continued, What? Why is young master alone? Isn't he went to marry his goddess? Where is she? Wait, she didn't refuse to marry you, right? Ha ha ha. Damien's green tendons started to show in his forehead. He wasn't a good person to begin with, so how could he bear such taunts? Even if the other person is his mother. Chapter 8. Chapter 8. Talk with Mother. How could he bear her taunts? Even if the other person is his mom. So he walked to her, and when she was still taunting him, he rolled her and put her body in his thighs. What are you doing, you traitor? Danica blushed when she felt her son rolled her body and put her in his thighs. Damien smiled and replied her, I am just putting my mom to her place. He didn't waited for her and raised his hand on the air and plop.
Spank.
He spanked her ass. What are doing to your mom, you bastard? Danica screamed and wanted to move her body, but Damien didn't let her. Like I said,
spank.
I am putting her to her place. As a mom, how can you say that to your son? But you bastard. Where did you even listen to me? You went to marry a cheap girl even if I stopped you for thousands of times. Do you know how I felt at that time?
Asterisco sob asterisco asterisco sob asterisco.
Damien heard her crying and couldn't bear to continue. He knows that his mother was really for himself. Even when he licked Emily, she just scolded him and even said to help him and send Emily to directly his bed. But because of heaven his brain was gone, and he didn't listen to her. When he said that he would marry Emily only at that time, her reaction was so chilling. Thinking of this, he made her sit on his thighs. A mom sitting on a son lap is nothing out of ordinary. After that, he kissed her on the cheeks and make her happy as he said, I am sorry, Mom, but you were really getting on my nerves. I won't forgive you. Danica, who was spanked, will not forgive the other party even if he is her son. But tell me what happened. But even so, her mood calmed down, and she looked at Diana, who had a poker face. She was really curious how could her idiot son took another woman back to house. Previously, he didn't even do that. So, where should I start? Damien said. He knows that his mother is a powerful powerhouse. At the same time, she is his background, and as his mother, he will naturally won't treat her bad. He rubbed her soft cheeks and wiped her crocodile tears, then finally decided to tell her close to truth. When I was going to marry her, she started saying that she wanted to leave after marrying me, but won't have any man outside. At that time, I seriously thought that why do I wanted to marry her? After seriously considering, I come to a conclusion that I don't love her, then why was I infatuated with her previously? It's just I don't know what happened when I thought about that, a lightness wash over my body. I started to feel very light, and if I am not wrong, then someone was controlling me, not like that someone had took my place, but like a puppet on the strings. I was following its plot or rules. Now I feel more and more light in my body. Also, I break through to a whole realm. He told her everything that she should know. As for system, it's not that he don't trust her, but the less people know about it, the better it is. He trusts her because she is with him for a whole 19 years. She is also his mother. Danica didn't interrupt it when her son explained to her. After some time, she nodded her head and said, I understand, but what about her now? Do you want me to destroy her family? A chill flashed in her purple eyes, and she placed her head on his chest as she started rubbing her head on it. A mother rubbing her cheeks on her son's chest is nothing. Maybe their relationship is very good.
Ahem.
No, Mom. I already thought what to do with her. What will you do? Can't you tell your mom? I want to give you a surprise, Mom, and it won't be a surprise if I told you. But yes, I do want you to help me with something. What do you want my help with? Nothing, just investigate a person next to her. Son, you didn't leave her until now? Has she become your heart demon? Danica asked Damien. Even though she had many ways to help him in everything, but heart demon is the only thing she can't help him. At least now. That's why she was worried about him. Hehehe, don't worry, Mom. How can that bitch become my heart demon? Mind your language. Is that what I taught you? Seriously, Mom, don't behave like an elder. Ahem. Back to the topic, I want to check about that man, because I think someone is behind him. Even though he is bodyguard, but I think he must have big background. Then why did he become her bodyguard? Maybe there is a brain problem. So, who is he? His name is Ethan. Okay, I will check his background and everything else. But you should know that you don't need to be afraid of anyone, whether he is the president of this country. Danica declared this domineeringly. She didn't pay any attention over anyone. As long as he want to kill, then kill, even without checking background. A little background can't do anything to her. Okay, Mom, I understand. I am going back to my room. Why don't you talk to me, huh? And who is she? She is someone I know. I mean, consider her as my bodyguard and someone I trust. Okay. Damien, after feeling everything was okay, went to his room with Diana. As for Danica, she looked at Diana and felt a burst of envy, because she knew her baby boy was about to lose his virginity tonight. I am his mother. She murmured. then looked behind her as a gentle smile appeared on her face and asked, "What did you saw?" As she asked a woman come out from the shadows. Chapter 9. Chapter 9. Aurora Void Sun. As she asked a woman come out from the shadows. She is her maid and follower. Her name is Aurora Void Sun. Aurora is a beautiful girl. She had a graceful figure. Her hairs were silver, while eyes were blood red. There is an indifferent aura around her that seemed to perceive that she hadn't paid any attention over anyone. It's just now her poker face is somehow looked like crying, because she saw her young Miss Sun spanking her. But she was also confused because if her miss wants, she can directly knock her son. She'd feel her power when she was subdued by herself. That dreadful feeling can't be pretend. So now she thinks that her end is so near. As someone is close her, she know how cruel her young miss is who pretend to be gentle every day. "I didn't saw anything," she stammers when speaking. "Oh, it seems my maid is blind. I need to exchange her giggle. Young miss, I am sorry. I really won't say anything. And no, I didn't saw anything." "What should I do?" "Okay, forget it. But if you said someone about this." Yes, I won't say," Aurora replied hurriedly, lest she change her tune. At the same time she thought, "If you can't do anything to young master, but is bullying me a little maid." But of course she won't say that. Danica shook her head. In fact, she really won't do anything to her as long as she did her work properly. After all, she is like a little sister to her. It's been many years since she subdued her. You heard that right? Check out his background, and check that women background too, who come with my son. Yes, young miss. Danica closed her eyes and seems to think something. Her face becomes chilly, and she asked, "Also, did you found out that person?" Aurora hesitated, but shook her head. "No, young miss." Aurora's face had the same chilly look. Years ago, to be specific 20 years ago, without any notice, her young miss was pregnant with a child. It was so sudden that it shook the entire immortal domain. After all, the young miss and the only female heir of a void angel, the immortal family, was pregnant with someone else's child and no one's know about it. In fact, someone as close as her didn't know whose child does her young miss carry in her belly. Then her young miss informed her mother that she is going into lower realm. That is Azure World. Just in 6 months, the Void Angel family became the main family in Magic City without any problem. There are 3 more main families, but they know that they can't compare with Void Angel family. After 3 months, her young miss gave birth to a boy. That is Damien. It's just something happened when Damien was born. No, there wasn't any celestial phenomena or something, but as someone as knowledgeable as them perceived that he was cursed by someone. Not a little, but immortal, the top-level curse. Then her young miss got angry and asked her to check about who cursed her son. First she was weird. After all, her young miss didn't care anyone except her mother. At the same time, because even she didn't know who was the man that impregnated her young miss. But with time things started to feel normal, and even she herself doted on Damien too much. She considered him as her son. So she was also angry who cursed her young master. But until now she couldn't find anyone who cursed her young master. In the immortal domain her status is also not low. She belonged from Void Sun family, the same status as Void Angel family. Danica also seems to go into her memory. When she was calculating the entire immortal domain, without any notice she was pregnant. At that time she was dumbfounded, because she hadn't any relationship with man, and she could even perceive that her virginity is still intact. It means she was neither defiled, but then, how could she get pregnant? Even she herself didn't know. So, after careful thinking, she come to Azure World after informing her mother. It didn't take any hard work to become a top-level family in Lower World. But after giving her child birth, who looked 99% same as her, her ambition to dominate the immortal domain seems to extinguishes. But she got angry when she found out that her child was cursed by at least a true immortal level powerhouse. She said to her maid to check who was that lay down his hand on her child, but the surprising thing is that no one was found. Even with the help of Void Angel family, a family who specialize in void. Even after 19 years, she didn't stop looking for that person who cursed her son. But if she finds, she swears that she would roast her soul using ninth neither fire. She calmed herself down and stopped thinking. Otherwise, she couldn't help but destroy some city in anger. Did you find out that he has changed somehow? She asked her maid. Yes, the curse that was getting more and more strong seems to be extremely weak at this moment, as if it was about to wipe out.
I also find about that.
His soul didn't change. It's the same, means that he is my son, but the soul curse is getting weaker and weaker suddenly. Maybe that's what he said, that his body is getting weaker. Yes, miss. I also find that maybe young master got a chance and successfully awakened his supernatural powers or something else. Danica nodded her head and said, but it's his chance, so it's good, and we will naturally won't investigate. Aurora was speechless. She knew what her miss was talking about. Miss, young master is almost like my son, and do you think I will try to steal his chance? Danica chuckled and shook her head. She really didn't trusted her completely. She didn't trusted anyone, even if the other person is her father. That's why Aurora feel that she may be killed by her the next second. She only trusts her mother and son. But she still has a bit of trust on her, otherwise she won't let her come within lower realm. It may also because she belongs from her mother family. She didn't reply but ordered, then continued checking and also investigate everything about Ethan and my son women. Aurora nodded her head and exited from the room. It seems as if the space was giving her the way. On the other hand, Danica was in good mood and went to her room. Chapter 10. Spirit devours Jade and Heaven's curse. On the other hand, inside Damien's room, Damien and Diana were sitting on the bed. Damien raised her chin and asked, have any idea what will happen tonight? That. Diana blushed. Even though the memory is fuzzy, but she know what should happen between a man and woman at night. But because it's her lord who needs her. She shyly nodded her head and replied, I know. If my lord want me, that I am ready. Damien didn't act like a bitch and said, then take a bath and get ready, girl. He pointed at one location. Diana nodded her head and asked that, what about the clothes, my lord? Clothes? You go ahead, someone will give it you. Diana nodded her head and went to the bathroom to take a bath. As for Damien, he made a call to his mother and said, Mom, can you send Diana a set of maid clothes? Diana? The girl who come with me.
Sure.
She is taking a bath, so hurry up and tell that to Aurora auntie. Okay. Damien cut the call and call out the system status. Nothing changed except the villain values. They become 5,000 because he humiliated the protagonist and heroine. 1,000 plus 4,000. He had 1,000 before and he humiliated protagonist and heroine, so he get 4,000, a total of 5,000. System used the protagonist tip to know about him. Ding. Using the protagonist tip. As the system prompt sounded, Damien find out that the location suddenly changed. He raised his eyebrows but didn't worried. He could sense that his body was still in the room and he was just looking at the past. Or maybe only his soul consciousness is here. Then he saw Ethan, the son of fortune. He saw that Ethan had a jade necklace on his hand. Just by looking at it, he could see that the jade necklace, even though looked normal, but was extraordinary. After all, it's what the son of fortune had hold in his hand. Ethan put his all-cultivated cultivation in that jade necklace. Then the jade necklace spit out all the cultivation aura. But it was more pure and solid, not only that there was also a trace of chaos in it. After Damien saw that he was exited out from that place by the system. At the same time, a name appeared on the system panel. Name: Ethan Spibborn. Luck: Blue, Rising. Cultivation Sutra: None. Cultivation Techniques: None. Cultivation: Chi gathering realm 8th floor. Golden finger. Spirit devours jade. A data of protagonist? System tell me about luck level. How are they calculated? Damien sneered while looking at the status panel of the protagonist and asked. Ding, luck are divided as black, white, green, blue, red, gold, purple. Black being the lowest while purple being the highest. He nodded his head and clicked on the golden finger introduction. Spirit devours jade, belong to a spirit devours race in immortal domain. A high-level artifact which can decompose the corpses of demonic beasts or the corpses of practitioners into energy and feed back to themselves. It can also purify your aura. Oh, so that's why the protagonist can put all his aura into the jade, then the jade will feed back to him. Also, immortal domain. A light flashed in his eyes and he continued, use the soul curse opportunity tip. You want to see who the fuck cursed him? Ahem. Ding using the soul curse opportunity. Immediately after the prompt sounded, he found himself in darkness. Even though dark, but instead of feeling afraid, nervous, or any emotion, what he feels was only deep comfort. As if the comfort come from his soul. The next moment, as if the space, time, and even the existence seems to stop. Then a domineering voice sounded in the space. The voice was weak, but full of domineering. As if he is the unique existence, and no one can stand against him. But still it seems that even the owner of that voice was using his will to spell out that curse. Damien heard the curse. I am going to curse you, the sinner, who destroyed everything. I use my authority to curse that you will never get what you want. The heaven will always be against you. With extreme desire for light, you will never obtain it, and instead crawl within darkness that everyone despise. Until your soul withers and disappear. After that domineering voice said that, he exited from that place, and he saw a name appeared on the system panel. The Heaven's Curse. This should be the one of the curse. Damien thought and continued, but where the heck did I destroyed anyone? A person who is harmless to animals and humans, a person who didn't even stepped over ants, destroyed the world? That joke is not funny at all. Wait, maybe someone destroyed the world, but that person used his power and shifted the curse to the lucky person. That heaven-defying lucky person should be me. But it can also be that I reincarnated for the 3rd time. Whatever, let's fuck Diana first, then think about it later. He thought, but then the system prompt sounded again. Ding! The system had completely removed the curse from the host's soul. Ding! Because the soul curse has the rule of darkness, the host physique had started to pre-awake. Ding! Congratulations to the host for getting extra luck 100 and luck enchantment 10. System, what is extra luck and luck enchantment? Ding! Extra luck points is which you can use to make yourself lucky. If the host used 100 points, you would be able to get some chances just like a son of fortune. But the hosts this are temporary only for 1 day. Ding! The luck enchantment points can permanently strengthen anything. Whether it's to temper anyone's destiny, any item, bloodline, or even physique. As long as the host wants, he can strengthen everything using these points. This are permanent. Note: the host luck level was black, but after removing the soul curse, the host has normal person luck. The extra luck points and luck enchantment points are extremely valuable. Please use it after careful thinking. Okay, open my status panel. Destiny villain system. Host: Damien Void Angel. Halo: none. Physique: Sacred Constitution, Dark Body, Pre-Awakening. Host luck: white. Cultivation realm: Foundation realm 10th floor. Cultivation sutra: none. Cultivation art: none. Tao elements: none. Supernatural powers: dark realm, follow your heart. Demon seed. System points: 5,000. Extra luck: 100. Luck enchantment: 10. Items: none. Chapter 11. Chapter 11. Supernatural Powers Introduction. Damien looked at the status panel and was surprised. He asked System, "Why is there a new supernatural powers, and also how can my cultivation level improved? It's on the 10th floor? Aren't there only 9 floors in the world?" Ding, because the host physique is unusual, that's why even if it's in the state of pre-awakening, it can unlock physique-specified supernatural powers. Because it is the first supernatural power awakened by the host physique when the system is present. So the system leveled it to the highest level. Is the highest level. Note, when the system will update in the future, all will be clear. Ding, because of pre-awakening status of the host physique, cultivation level is improved. Note, there are a total of 10 floors, but the lower realm people consider that there are only 9 floors. Because the lower realm don't have enough aura to cultivate till 10 floors, and there isn't a heaven-defying genius. That's why only 9 floors are introduced. The total floors are 10. Is that so? Damien understand everything. He didn't pay much attention over system updates, but continued asking, so my previous cultivation realm was also filled 10 floor? Ding, yes host. What about my physique? Is there any information you have? Ding, the host physique is 4 level, but because the host physique is unusual, it may have chance to evolve in the future. Physique are divided in 7 level: ordinary, normal, top, sacred, supreme, immortal, and celestial. Note, these levels are recorded in the system core. There might be difference in real world. Please ask the host to find out himself and be cautious. My physique level is 4 level, but it's unusual. It means should be that even if I have sacred level physique, I can fight with supreme and even immortal level physique. But I don't like to pretend and stay pig-eating tiger. Fortunately, my physique can improve with time, he said and felt a little relaxed. But I still need to confirm this. After all, even the system said that something may change and results may different in various worlds. He shook his head. At least until now, he didn't even awaken his physique, so why worry about something? System, what are supernatural powers? Also introduce me my supernatural powers. Even though he has asked before, but he still wanted to know everything. Information is also a power. Just like now he knows that Ethan have a background, and he isn't an urban bodyguard type protagonist. A light flashed in his eyes and quickly disappeared. Ding, as previously told, supernatural powers are only born, bestowed by heaven, and can only awakened by person on its own. But it's difficult but not impossible. Damien nodded, and the system continued. Dark Realm. Using this supernatural power, the host can create a realm where host is the supreme. The enemy will be completely immobile if his or her cultivation realm is lower than host. If the enemy cultivation realm is equal to host, he will suppressed by 50% in everything, whether it's cultivation realm, physique, bloodline, secret arts, scriptures, sutras. If the enemy is 2 levels higher than host, he or she will suppressed by 20% in everything. Demon Seed. Using this supernatural power, the host can control a person. He or she will be your slave for eternity or until you want. The other person can't die without your permission. Even if they die in battle, their souls will not be theirs. They can't reincarnated and will still be your slaves. It didn't matter whether the other person want or not to be your slave. You can force this on above until 2 realms higher than host. Note, the best thing of Demon Seed is that it can't be found by even if the other person is immortal. The host can use other person perfectly. He can create or delete memories, control their bodies, and even emotions. This applies to Son of Fortune too if their luck is cleared out. Follow your heart. This supernatural power is very special. This is the only passive and unique type supernatural power present in the heaven and myriad worlds. When cultivating, the host won't encounter demon heart. Even if encountered, it will be only used for nourishment. The main function of this supernatural power is that the host won't follow heaven, Tao, fate, luck, and destiny. He will follow his heart. He won't lost in worldly desires, illusions, etc. Note, in all three supernatural powers. This is the most useful one. Damien chuckled, looking at the note that says that follows your heart is the best supernatural power. In fact, in long term, it's really the most useful one. But he thinks that the demon seed supernatural power is most suitable in the near future. He licked his lips and thought, supernatural powers are really great. So the thing that I thought before can be realized. It will be very interesting, hehehe. Then he paused and thought a little serious, but about immortal domain? It seems I have to plan the future. As a destiny villain, Jay, don't want to be a pig-eating tiger. But first let's have intimate relationship with Diana. Even though I am not the type to have sex with every beautiful girl I see, but Diana is a special girl. After all, her affection is the highest. She is also his type, from body to her personality. Everything matched him. In the future, she will be his best helper. Thinking of this, he felt hot in his lower body and continued, I can finally take off my shameful virgin hat. Even though it's not important, but as a destiny villain, he is still a virgin. It just doesn't suit his identity. At the same time, he started recollecting his memories. I reincarnated 19 years ago, awakened my memories now. Also, my physique is in pre-awakening state. There are also 3 supernatural powers. Demon seed is naturally a supernatural power made for me. I can force this on people equal and lower to me. It also includes as long as they aren't 3 realms higher than me, I can make them my slave. The future is bright, but let's cultivate even more vigorously so I can become a person who can do anything. Or maybe hunt down all the protagonists so I can cultivate even fastly. Then he stopped thinking because he sensed Diana was coming in the room. He could sense because she didn't hide her aura. It's finally time to spend a night with her.